What's up, YouTube? It's Misery Hates Company. In this video, we're going to talk about Diablo Immortal, a game that I covered pretty decently on this channel. I've made several guides, several videos, several updates about the game before I transitioned to a different one. And, you know, I was just playing around on my phone one day recently, and I was like, let's try Diablo Immortal again. And I'm going to be honest, I actually like it a lot. There's a lot of things about the game that I remember enjoying a lot. There were a lot of parts where I was frustrated about that when I came back, I was curious if there were any adjustments that had been made. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and more in this video, and ultimately answer the question that is in the thumbnail and the ultimately the subject of this video, which is Diablo Immortal a dead game? Let's talk about it. Let's get straight to it. First things first, some of the frustrations that came from Diablo Immortal were how pay to win it was. And the biggest pay to win element was definitely the resonance. So at 1K resonance, you got these wings, little baby wings. 2K resonance, you don't get anything. 3K resonance, you get the bigger wings. And then I think it's some absurd number, you get more wings. And ultimately, this is a multiplicative percent as to how much overall power you're getting. So it is a direct pay to win element where the more power, the more resonance you have equals more power in the game. So as you can see, I have not played this game. I played a little bit in the last few days, like I said, and I've come to enjoy it. They do have some decent catch-up mechanics. So if you played the game previously, you can see like the current server Paragon level is 356, and I'm sitting at Paragon 161. I first came back and I was at like 140, and in 2 days of not even really grinding incredibly hard, but with this 400% bonus XP, I got 20 something levels, so it's definitely not hard to catch up. So it's a very nice catch up mechanic that they have built into the game, at least when it comes to server Paragon level. There is no real catch up mechanic for the resonance. I will say that now. But overall, you know, everything is here that I had, which was kind of nice. You know, I do have a decent amount of resonance at 1K. And then, you know, I obviously already have I do have a couple, 2-star gems that I have at like level 5. And then I have several, I only have 2 5-star gems that I'm currently using. One's the Blood BSJ, the Blood Soaked Jade. And then I do have the Sleeping Bile, which is actually pretty nice. A 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't realize I had that, but I have maxed out 1-star gems, which is very productive. I'm going to be honest. And then if you go back to the resonance, once you get a gem to max star, you can actually add more gems to it and get a little bit of a bump to the resonance. But once you increase it 1 level after that, you're literally getting 1 resonance instead of, you know, if I were to like upgrade, yeah, that's the only one I can really look at. So we go to upgrade gem. We'll go to the jeweler real quick. You're going to get way more resonance. Like we're talking at least 30 resonance for leveling up at least 1 gem level. So that is a little interesting and a little kind of unfortunate, really, if you ask me. So we're going to go down here real quick. And so, yeah, if we go over here, go to services, go to upgrade the gem, you're going to see that the resonance increases by 30. Wow, that was an incredibly amazing guess. But and then obviously the 5-star gems upgrade by a decent amount more. 90. So that's a very noticeable difference. Obviously, if you want to get to those higher resonance levels, you do need the 5-star gems. But ultimately, the 1-star gems are decent. I mean, 270 resonance for a rank 3 5-star gem, whereas this one is a 1-star max ranked level 10 and only gives you 150 resonance. So you can obviously see here where the benefit is from having higher ranking gems. Again, half of the rank of a 2-star gem, and I have it 150, whereas a maxed out gem here is 150. So it does cost a little bit more to do it. But again, they actually did help a little bit with the catch-up mechanic. So what they did was for 2 things. So a big part of any Diablo game is gear. And one thing I thought I thought was interesting, I'm going to mess it up here, but if you go to the blacksmith now, there's actually set crafting, which I thought was phenomenal. So a big part of the game is grinding dungeons, which a lot of people, depending on the dungeon, don't really love. But a big part of getting more power is the effects that you get from your sets, as well as your legendary gear in the game. So your sets is one that is very, very difficult to grind out, especially when you get to like, I think it's Hell 5. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Like I said, I'm just coming back to the game. But yeah, this is a decent catch-up mechanic where you can actually craft the set gear you want with this new currency that is Fabled Wisp. So I don't know where you get it from. Combine fabled wisps of the same power together to craft a specific set of item of corresponding power. So I don't know where you get it from. I don't know if you get like a wisps of a certain level, and you can then like a set piece of a certain level, you could sacrifice it to get the wisp. That's what makes it the most sense to me, but obviously I'm not 100% sure. I'm just coming back to the game. So that is really cool. I do love that. And then something else that I noticed is they did give us the ability of, well, actually, while I'm going up, they did, of course, add more to the Heliquary, which was always a really cool addition to the game. But it looks like there was someone else here, if I remember correctly. I don't believe this was the third boss, unless I'm wrong. But maybe he was. But I thought there was a different third boss. I've only done these first two, as you can see, and they did add some additional rewards. It looks like some cosmetics, which is interesting. But yeah, like this is something that come out, I want to say like every month. Again, please update me if I'm incorrect, but this is also a very huge, what even is this? Warband activity used to upgrade the ancestral something or other bonus attributes to grant. Okay, I don't know what that is. But yeah, so something else that is new is this ancestral property. So unlocked after gaining access to castle whatever. So very interesting. I don't know what that is, but this is obviously new stuff they added to the game. Some other additional catch-up mechanics that they have are these events. So we'll go to this one first, which is the Return to Sanctuary. So every day you logged in, and I logged in just to see. So I've been logged in for more than a few days, obviously, but I logged in just to check it out, and then I've actually been actively playing, like I said, for about 3 days. But there's a few different things you get here. You get some just random items. Now they did change the color of the legendary crest from like the purple that it was, so that way it does stay. It's a little bit more obvious when you have the other legendary crest. That if you get a gem from it, you can put it on the auction house. That one still is purple, but the legendary crest is now red to make it abundantly obvious. And I think if you go to the shop, you can actually see that. I think they're called Eternal Crests. Yeah, Eternal Legendary Crest. So this one is still purple. This one allows you to sell whatever item you get on the auction house, which is going to help you get platinum, which then could in turn help you getting, from a free-to-play standpoint, more legendary gear. Or more legendary, not gear, but more legendary gems at a higher rank. So if you save your platinum, and there's so many opportunities to make guides on this stuff, and if you guys are interested in Diablo Immortal, I'll definitely consider it. But it was just really interesting that they've definitely have added a lot of catch-up mechanics, which I thought were pretty cool. So like I said, the first one is this Return to Sanctuary. You don't get a ton of stuff, but it's enough to make it interesting. You do get these bonuses, which helps a lot. You do get a bonus crest. You get plus 5% magic fine for, I want to say, the first 7 days returning, which is really cool. And then it does give you 2 times battle points, remaining 550 for the codex. It just helps you progress in the battle pass quicker, which is awesome. And then obviously, if you're coming back to the game, you should have a ton of these like stacked up, which is really, really nice. I've gone through a few of these already, especially some of these other ones. But yeah, there's all these like little things that help you catch back up in the game if you're interested. But then the other event that I thought was interesting is the Hungering Moon. So you get all these different, you have these crests that you can get, that you can buy certain things in here. But then you can also, like a legendary gem would be phenomenal. This one is a new pearl, so used to craft the most powerful legendary gems. Visit the Master Jewel for more information. So I only currently own 3 required to craft. So even in this, it shows you how many you're going to need to craft legendary gems. Obviously, these are 5-star gems, which is really, really cool. How do you get more from the shop or purchase from the Hilts trader? So you can get them on a weekly basis, which is really, really nice. So if it's 40 of them, so yeah, the biggest thing then is in 40 days, you're guaranteed a 5-star gem, basically is what that's saying, which from a free-to-play aspect isn't amazing, but it is something. It's much better than what it was. And speaking to that same effect, and then the blessings you get to do 3 of these a day, you get to unlock them. Most of them are magic find, which I thought was really, really nice, especially coming back to the game and having all these different legendary items. And then they also will have some different ones for completing dungeons on solo, and then this one as well. So that's how you get some additional of these moon silvers that you can then buy for the other event, which is really nice. Something else that I thought was pretty cool, there's some other opportunities to like catch up. We go over here, is they added more ways of getting legendary crest. So of course you could do, I don't believe this one was here. Maybe it was. I don't remember this one. So for 1,600 platinum, you can get a legendary crest weekly. And then for 160 of whatever it is, eternal orbs, which is the premium currency, you can get, it looks like an unlimited amount, that is consistent to what it was in the shop. So nothing crazy there. But then the really cool one here is if you do a, what is it called? Oh gosh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Can be unlocked by completing a warband raid for the week. So if you complete a warband raid in the Heliquary, you can actually unlock the ability of purchasing one of these for 1,600. So you cannot buy them before doing it. So it's not that it makes it free; it just unlocks the ability of you purchasing it. Which again, it's an eternal one, which is really really nice compared to this legendary one. Same price, same weekly cooldown limit, but this one you can actually sell on the auction house, which has a lot of free to play benefits to it. The other thing that I noticed that they changed was up here at the fading embers. They increased the weekly limit. I want to say these were both 120, so they definitely at least doubled it, which is phenomenal. I want to say the weekly limit was like 100 at one point. I really don't remember. It's been several months since I played the game, but yeah, I thought this was really really nice. A nice little catch up mechanic. So all in all, the game is very, very interesting, and I did notice that they've done server merges, which you could say that is like the game dying. But ultimately, most games that I've played, they do server merges at a certain point anyway. And I've heard nothing but good things from people that are talking about it, which is really, really nice. And by the way, I just noticed the fading embers person here. This is where you get the Fa runes, which you can then turn into a legendary crest, either 1 stars or at the gym master or whatever, or their servant, the one on the far right that we talked to originally. Or you can get a random 5-star gem or random 2-star gem. So the Fa runes are really, really phenomenal and good for that. You can also trade other runes and upgrade them, which is really cool. But yeah, so there's a lot of things you can do to get more legendary crests. It definitely feels like legendary crests are more feasible to get. I don't think it's obviously going to be advantageous for anyone from a free-to-play aspect to be playing PvP. But me playing strictly PvE, I have really enjoyed the game again. In fact, I'm very much considering making content for it again. I'm curious how this video does with all of you. I don't think Diablo Immortal is dead by any chance. I did read the most recent patch notes, and it sounds like there's a decent chance that there's a massive update coming in just under a few weeks, or just over 2 weeks, actually, under 3 weeks, that could be a brand new character, the Blood Knight, which, again, if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to cover that. Apparently, some data miners went in and actually looked at the code and translated back to English from Chinese, and have found basically an on-off switch that could just be toggled at any point. And with some of the events that are going on right now, it definitely sounds like they're leading towards a new hero, which is really, really cool. Now, also, you can actually change your class every 2 weeks, which is phenomenal, which was not there originally in the game. It was something they did announce as a possibility, but it's something that you can do on a bi-weekly basis, essentially, to reset your character to someone else. You keep your Paragon, you keep your legendary gems, you keep all of the gems and the levels for everything. You do not get to keep the same legendary. You get to keep your legendary gear in the sense that it stays on your wizard. So, like, if I were to switch my wizard to a berserker, or warrior, whatever they're called, I don't know, necromancer. Let's go with necromancer. I think it's called a berserker, but I will keep my legendary gems, but I will get placeholder gear at the same equivalent level or power, at a gold tier, basically the rare tier, instead of legendary. So I would have to re-unlock all the legendary gear for the berserker, warrior, necro, whatever I go to. But then if I were to ever go back to my wizard, this would all be here. All my legendary gear would be available. So essentially, it allows you to bounce around to all of the different heroes without on the one account instead of making multiple accounts. So there is some. I thought that was interesting, a nice little mechanic to keep the game evergreen, really. Especially from a content standpoint, it makes it kind of nice to like switch to an account or switch to a new class and then play with it for a week and then make content for it for a week and then do that again. That's really cool, especially with them coming in with new classes. So it definitely sounds like Diablo Immortal is thriving in the sense that they're still making money, they're still making content for the game, they're doing server merges to keep the game fresh and active. The one thing I did notice that I hated so much back when I first had played this game and I was an Immortal, which was really exhausting. I'm very curious what changes they've made from an Immortal standpoint, because that was very much like a job. So I'm curious. I will eventually get into an Immortal clan, I'm sure, and I want to see if any changes have been made there. But a lot of your quests on a daily basis were to do dungeons, and several dungeons. It was like 3 or 4 dungeons a day, and you could not do it by yourself at your current hell difficulty. You had to go all the way back down to hell 1 or find a full group to do it with, which was super obnoxious. And what they have done, and I have tested this out myself, regardless of which hell you're on, you can actually do it yourself, which is super cool. You can actually go into any dungeon at any hell difficulty. It will be obviously harder by yourself, and they actually reward you for doing it with a full group of 4, which makes total sense. Something else you'll notice if you've played this game originally and are just coming back to it, they added the combat power rating recommended for each of the different hells. So currently I am on hell 3, but as you see, I should be at hell 4, but my combat rating is not there. So this one drops equipment at levels 150 to 300. I'm currently level 160, like I said, or 161, but I am unfortunately still on hell 3 because my combat rating is closer to 2100 instead of this 3200. And the combat rating, of course, is found over here, which if you click on your little man and then go to more attributes, this is your combat rating. So again, 2630, I'm nowhere near that 3200, which is why it's very, very difficult for me to do it, which means the fastest way of powering up is going to be obviously playing the game, leveling up my gear, getting more stats at the Heliquary, as well as the Legacy of the Herodrum, which I do have videos on in my Diablo Immortal playlist, which is still very accurate. But ultimately, that would be the fastest way for me to catch up. And obviously, I still already have my gear, and I do need to try to get a higher level equipment and get my set bonuses, which would make my character a whole hell of a lot stronger. But ultimately, I think they've done some really great changes to Diablo Immortal to kind of keep it fresh than what it was at launch. And I mean, it had a very, very negative launch, I think we can all agree on, which definitely impacted this game and impacted it from a content standpoint. There was so much negativity around the game. It seems that it's tapered off because there's more and more games coming out that are similar to this. From a content standpoint, for me at least, I love that it has a PC port like this where I can get max frames, just really pump in some serious graphics, make it look beautiful like this, but then also on the go play on my mobile device. So I am actually enjoying it. I am considering making content. So let me know what you guys think about Diablo Immortal. Do you think it's a dead game? Do you think some of the changes they have made will entice you to come back to the game if you left? Are you still playing Diablo Immortal and are you enjoying it? Let's have a healthy conversation in the comments below. And until next time, guys, lock it in.